I'm Michaela Kathleen. Happy Harry Potter Day. That's right, it is May 2nd, the anniversary of the Battle of Hogwarts, which makes it Harry Potter Day. Last year I celebrated Harry Potter Day here on my channel and kept it going all month long with a video a week for a total of 4 videos, which were dedicated to recommending books based on your Hogwarts house. 4 houses for 4 weeks. And so this year I thought I would keep that trend going with 4 videos celebrating my favorite characters from each Hogwarts house. And by that, I do not mean my favorite Harry Potter characters, I mean my favorite characters from other books. So yes, this is basically just me sorting various fictional characters into Hogwarts houses. And today, on the day of the anniversary of the Battle of Hogwarts, I thought we would celebrate my favorite Gryffindor characters. So, what are our standards for sorting characters into Gryffindor? The traits associated with Gryffindor, of course, the first one that everyone thinks of is bravery. Gryffindors are also very chivalrous. With these 2 traits, you're kind of starting to think Knights of the Round Table. But I tried to think beyond just bravery and chivalry. People are more complicated than just those 2 traits. Some other words that I associate with Gryffindors are, they can be a little bit showboaty, a little bit reckless, they're very adventurous, I think they're very high energy people, they can be funny and fun to be around, they're honest but maybe a bit blunt sometimes, they're definitely competitive and confident. I think they tend to be very moral characters with a lot of inner strength, but then also they can maybe be a little self-righteous, maybe have a little bit of a martyr complex. So yes, all of these things are things that a Gryffindor might exhibit. But jumping right into the list, I have 10 favorite Gryffindors here in no particular order. And the first one is Augustus Waters from The Fault in Our Stars. Gus really wants to leave his mark on the world. This actually becomes a pretty big conflict between him and Hazel. And no, I'm not putting Gus in Gryffindor just because he's a survivor. That would be pretty stereotypical. And also, Hazel's not a Gryffindor. You will find out in a later video which house I do think she is. But yeah, Hazel kind of has a more quiet existence. She understands that the marks humans leave are too often scars, and really does not understand Gus's compulsion to be remembered. But it's a big thing for Gus. He often will sacrifice himself in video games. He definitely wants to be the hero. He's a bit self-righteous at times. He thinks that his beliefs are the right beliefs. Yeah, I think Gus just definitely exhibits basically all of the descriptors of being a Gryffindor. He is a Gryffindor through and through to me. The next Gryffindor that I love is Bridget from The Sister of the Traveling Pants by Anne Brashares. Bridget does not so much have the martyr complex that Gus has, but she's definitely very adventurous, extremely competitive. She plays soccer throughout the series and is very competitive about it, and also a bit of a show-off. She's definitely got that reckless streak that some Gryffindors have. She doesn't really think through her actions before doing them, and it really does come to bite her in the butt sometimes throughout the series. She's really confident most of the time. Not so much sometimes when some of her more reckless moments come back to bite her in the butt, as I said, but most of the time very confident. And yes, another great Gryffindor in my opinion. Next, we have Coco from Kids of Appetite, who once again displays a lot of Gryffindor tendencies, and she even has that nice red mane of Weasley hair. But Coco is a very blunt character, very honest, very blunt. That is one of her most prominent Gryffindor-y type traits. She's got a bit of a temper, blood can run kind of hot for Coco. She is extremely self-confident in every moment. Really love that about her. She likes to show off her rap skills. And yeah, overall, it's got a lot of Gryffindor traits. Maybe doesn't get the opportunity to display them all in this book, but I think for sure a Gryffindor. Next, I have Star Carter from The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas, which I feel like Star has got a little bit more of a subtle Gryffindor vibe. She's not much of a showboat. Don't think she's like overly competitive. She's like a Gryffindor without the traits that can kind of get a little bit annoying about Gryffindor. We all know it's true. But she's very brave, has a deep inner strength, has a strong moral code that she follows, and she doesn't let fear make her deviate from those morals. And when it comes down to it, she's always very confident in herself and her decisions and her morals, even though, unlike some Gryffindors, she has a little bit more of a thought process before she makes decisions. So yes, maybe the best of the Gryffindor traits here in Star Carter. Next on my list is Gail from The Hunger Games. Again, I feel like Gail is a little bit subtler of a Gryffindor. He's not so much of a show-off. He's not very reckless, but he is a bit self-righteous. He always kind of thinks that he's right and is going about things in the right way. He's much more vocal than Katniss about his opinions of their oppressive government. Definitely got a lot more anger about it, and he's a lot more fired up about it. He's got a bit of a temper, and yeah, just a bit self-righteous about it, and is definitely willing and ready to do things about the government. He's going to fight for what he believes regardless of the sacrifice. So yes, I would also sort Gail into Gryffindor. Next up, we have what I feel is maybe the most Gryffindor-y Gryffindor to ever Gryffindor, and that is Peter Pan from Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. And yes, just have you ever met more of a Gryffindor than Peter Pan? He really, truly checks all the boxes, 1000%. Literally nothing scares him. He is constantly looking for adventure. I don't know if anyone is more of a show-off than Peter. He loves to show off in front of Wendy, in front of Tink, in front of the mermaids, in front of his lost boys. Any chance he gets to show off, he will. He does not really understand the concept of danger, and therefore reckless is how he lives. He's super competitive, super confident, just such a Gryffindor. He is so competitive that he will literally change his age in order to be the oldest one in the group. Like, someone will ask how old he is, and he'll say 10, and he'll ask how old they are, and they'll say 11, and then he'll say, oh, I'm 12. Literally, that's how competitive he is. Next on my list, going back to the less obvious, because does it get more obvious than Peter, Gryffindors, we have Aragon from The Inheritance Cycle by Christopher Paolini. And Aragon, I feel, is maybe a little bit of a Griffin puff. I think he has some Hufflepuff tendencies, but in the end I put him in Gryffindor. He's obviously brave and has very strong morals and a lot of inner strength. He can be a little bit blunt, but I feel that's maybe less his aggressive Gryffindor tendencies and more him sometimes just being a little bit socially inept, I guess. He can be kind of reckless, like performing magic that might kill him. He's known to do it. And he's competitive. I would say he's not a showboat, but he is competitive. So yes, in the end, though, he did have a few Hufflepuff traits. Overall, a Gryffindor. Next, we have Arsinoe from Three Dark Crowns by Kendare Blake. I did sort all three of the main characters in this series, so you'll have to wait and see what the other two are. But for Arsinoe, I went with Gryffindor. One of her most Gryffindor traits is her temper. She's definitely got a temper, which makes her very blunt and honest. She can be a little bit reckless. Again, much like Aragon, she's kind of reckless with magic. She's very brave. She kind of accepts her fate that in the battle to be queen with her sisters, she is going to lose, which means that she's going to die. She's got a lot of confidence. She just is totally herself and doesn't care what anyone thinks. She dresses how she wants, she acts how she wants. She does not follow proper queenly rules like she's supposed to. Getting to the end here, number 9 on the list is Rudy from The Book Thief. Rudy is just such a rough and tumble, competitive, self-confident little boy. He's adventurous, he's always exploring everywhere, is always down for doing anything, whether it's stealing apples or books or whatever. A little Gryffindor in the making. And finally, number 10 on the list of some of my favorite Gryffindors is Mal from Shadow and Bone. I think Mal has a lot of inner strength. He's obviously very brave. He was a little bit of a showboat in the first book. He kind of matured as the books went on and became a little bit less of a show-off. But in the first book, he definitely displayed some of those tendencies, I feel. He liked to show off in front of his army friends. I will say he's not very reckless. He's pretty calculated in the decisions that he makes. If anything, Alina is the reckless one. But as we can see by the final book, he does maybe have a little bit of a martyr complex, and he's of course quite confident and I think has a good moral code as well. So yes, that was a list of 10 Gryffindor characters that I love. Let me know down below some of your favorite Gryffindor characters, and also whether or not you disagreed with me on some of my sorts. Maybe you think Peter Pan is a Ravenclaw. You're wrong, but maybe you think that. I'm joking, you can sort any character into any house you want. And yes, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you will keep watching this little mini-series of my favorite characters in various Hogwarts houses. But on to the quote for today's video, which, coincidentally enough, the quote for today's video is from Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. And it is from Dumbledore, and it goes, "It does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live." Thanks for watching. Remember, words matter.